Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jim Coppinger with ZenTek Consultants, and this is our presentation on how to take off multiple items all at the same time in Bluebeam Revu. So we appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy work days to join us. So let's go ahead and get into this. So for those of you who haven't worked with us before and familiar with us, we're ZenTek Consultants, and we work primarily in the AEC community. And we're really here to help our clients develop systems like Bluebeam, but also your CAD systems, your estimating, project management, file collaboration, whatever you need to help you optimize and train and really build those to your best potential. All right, and then we hope you guys will hit our website and see what else we can do for you beyond Bluebeam. So today, what I really want to talk to you guys about is dealing with the dynamic fill tool, right, inside of Bluebeam Revu. And it was an item that was added in the 2017 release of Bluebeam Revu, and it is available in the extreme versions of Bluebeam only. It's one of those things that I show people and they're always like, oh wait, I only have the standard version. Can I use that? No, I'm sorry to say you can't, but you can always upgrade. All right, so what is the dynamic fill tool? Well, it's a tool that's really, it's designed to do exactly what we were saying today. It helps you select multiple areas across your plans at the same time and then apply multiple markups and or takeoff items to those areas all in one shot. Right? And what's great about it, and we're going to actually go through and do a little demo here in just a minute, is that it eliminates the need for you to actually go in and select kind of a point-by-point outline of all of your different rooms and areas. Okay, so you can go in and select multiple rooms, multiple areas, and provide common area, volume, perimeter type takeoffs to those areas all in one shot. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and see how it works. All right, let's get into the demo here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump over to Bluebeam Revu, and let's have a basic floor plan opened up here. This is one I use quite a lot for my training classes. All right, so what I'm going to do is just going to kind of zoom up here in the center. You'll see that in this area, kind of a common core area, we got 2 restrooms and we got a couple of storage closets and janitorial closets, things like that. And that's a pretty good example of how things, while Bluebeam is a fantastic quantity takeoff software, no matter what you do, right, when you start to work with basic tools, a lot of times there's just a lot of clicking involved. There's a lot of setup and arrangement to get you to where you want to go. So for example, if I wanted to do this particular restroom up here, okay, if I wanted to go ahead and do an outline and maybe calculate the area on that, what would I have to do? Well, I'd go up, right, and I go to my tools and I go to measure, right, and I do my area command, right, and I have to make sure I have my snaps on, and now I have to start going from this corner to this corner to this corner to here, and I've got to come around the little kickouts, and I got to come down here and around this kick out, right, and then I have to go down to the clip corner and around, and I missed the thing, so now I'm gonna have to go back and edit that later, right? This is the kind of structure that you have, right? And it's not bad. It works. It's perfectly acceptable. It's a good way to do your takeoffs. But when it comes to being productive in this environment, speed is the key. It's all about making it faster, making it simpler. Because if you think about that, I'd need to go through and do the outline on this room and take off the area, say for the tile floor. Then I'd have to go to this room and do the takeoff for the tile floor. Then I have to outline this room, then this room, then this room, right? If these were all going to be tile floors. Now, what if I'm also going to go in there? What if I also have to do trim around these? Well, then I have to go in and I have to do it again for the trim in each room. And what if I needed to do a demolition of, maybe it's a renovation, right? Maybe we're going in here, we're going to knock out the concrete in here first, right? And then reset with mud. I'd have to go through and outline it all and figure out the demolition areas, right? 4 or 5 different items that I'd have to go through here times however many rooms, right? So we're talking about adding 16 or 17 items. So just to do the takeoff in this area could take you 20, 25 minutes easily, right? To do it effectively and get all the data that you need. Instead, that's where we get into working with the dynamic fill tool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the tools drop down, right? And under the measurement at the very bottom, you'll see the dynamic fill feature. Right? And you see that comes up, it's just a little simple toolbar that pops up. But the way that the dynamic fill tool works is instead of using you manually outlining the rooms that you want to do takeoffs in, right? It does a little bit of flood fill and ray tracing, okay? Right? So that we can go in, right? And we can go ahead and structure out. Oh, and by the way, I see a couple of questions coming in, and I'm sorry, folks. I'm not going to answer questions in real time as we go. I promise you, when we get to the end of the presentation, I will go back and answer all of your questions and so on. Okay, so this way I know some folks are very busy and I don't want to keep anybody on the line who doesn't have the time to listen to me answer questions, but I will try my very best to get to all your questions at the end of the class. So, or not a class, I guess just a presentation. All right, so when I want to go in here and I want to actually outline and do a layout on these rooms, right? What I can do is I can come up here and I can use this little bucket icon, right? It's our flood fill. Right, and what I can do is I can go in and I can just kind of pick in the middle of a room, and you see that what I can do is allow Bluebeam, and I can go inside the door area as well, right? Just kind of flood in there. See, it will actually select and highlight the area for me using flood fill and ray tracing. So you see I can just kind of drag my mouse over and let it flood fill another room, okay? Right, and so on. I can just go room by room by room, and I can easily select multiple rooms this way, which is definitely beneficial, okay? Now, the only concern that you do run into here is that you do need to have a closed space to do this. Okay, so for example, if I go over here and say, oh, I want to start doing carpeting within these little office cubicles that I have over here on the side. At first, it looks fine. I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm going to do that area. Good. See, it's going to the walls. Oh, wait, no, where are you going? Stop. Wait. No, that's not where I'm putting carpet. I'm going through printers and off walls. That's not at all good. Okay, when you have an open space, you see what happened here. I had this open doorway. So the kind of the ray trace falls and it floods outside of that. Not a problem. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up here and I can actually clear the fill. Okay, and what Bluebeam has as part of, oops, sorry, I forgot that I had that still active. What Bluebeam has here as part of the overall tool, right next to it, you have what's called a boundary definition. And that lets you still go in and use the flood tracing in areas where you don't necessarily have a closed space. So you see that I can go in here and I can use this add boundary tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the properties, right? That you can adjust the size of the boundary to make it a real thin line or a very thick and heavy line, depending on what it is or what areas you're trying to actually calculate for. So I'm just going to take the boundary and I'm going to make it pretty small. I'm going to slide it down, okay? And I can just close my controls. Now I can just use the boundary tool up here. And you see I'm just going to draw a boundary kind of from there. And you see it's just a line. I just double click when I get to the other end out to there. Okay, and you see I can adjust the thickness of that line, okay, because the flood fill will go right to the edge of that line, not to the center line. It'll stop at the very edge of it. All right, now I can go back into that area and I can do my flood fill. And you see I can do this room. All right, oh, and I want to get inside there, and then you see I can go in, I can do this room. Okay, I can do this room. Okay, get inside that area. See, I can easily go in now and I can select all of the individual rooms and items and areas that I need to work with just by closing off the space in any boundary. And the great thing is I'm going to go and I'm going to clear both of those. I'll do a clear all. That clears my boundary and my fill. Right? Is that I can do that in any kind of shape or location that I need to. Right? So if I wanted to go in and draw a boundary around some random area and say, look, we're going to do some kind of a flooring from here to here, over to here, and it's going to come in and over and down. You see, I'm kind of sketching out some weird random shape, for a mosaic tile floor or something. Right? That then becomes a boundary. Now when I go in and do a flood fill on that, you see it's going to flood just inside those areas. Right? Oop, I went up, there was a gap on the outside of the wall here, but you get the idea. Right? So you just go in and clear all of those. So there's a gap of some kind up here. It fled to the outside of the building. Right? But let's go back in here and let's talk about the benefit of that. So it's okay, it's one thing to select the area. What does that really get you? Right? And why is this an important tool for you to use? Because once I go in here, and I'm going to flood fill these rooms again, okay? And again, the speed at which these fill, I can adjust those under the settings as well, so I can make it fill faster, right, or slower as I need to. The thing is, when you're filling faster, sometimes, right, you got to be careful and make sure that you don't necessarily, catch a wall or something, right, or it can get out of control pretty quick, okay? But you see, I'm able to just go in and flood these rooms, right? So I'm just going to use these couple of rooms right here. Right, and so we're going to put in all the same kind of fittings and features, and we got the same thing going on in here. Now you notice on the second half of this bar, once we get beyond the basic defining areas, we have the ability to create a number of different tools. You see that these are commonly used measurement tools. You see that here I've got the ability to define spaces, right? Polygons, areas, perimeters, polylengths, okay, and volumes. that I can apply right here. Now, what's amazing about these is that I go down and you see next to each one I have a drop down. And I have two options, right? As I hit in each drop down, you see that I can use the default properties, whatever the current active default properties for that tool in Bluebeam are, or you'll also see that it will provide for you the ability to select from any custom tools that you may currently have active. Now, for right now, just kind of give you guys an idea, right? What I have over here are ZenTek Revu tools. They're just prepackaged sets of tools we use for different types of work, and we regularly customize for people too. But the big thing here, right, you see that I've got a number of wall finishes, ceiling finishes, floor finishes, whatever kinds of tools that you've built for yourself inside of Bluebeam in your tool sets. Those will be available for you to use automatically in conjunction with these areas that we already have selected. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, okay, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create a space. So I'm going to click the button. Now you see how it becomes blue? Now it's going to actively name these spaces. And what do I want to name them? Well, I'm going to name them room 100 through 104. So I'm just going to call these room to begin with. Okay, I'm not going to do any polygons, but I do want to do areas. So I'm going to hit the drop down. Right, and you see in here within, here are my interior finishes. I'm going to do a floor finish. Right? I have a tool that's designed with patterns and layers and labels and so on already in place in my tool set that I can use for my floor finishes. Now you see how my area now, when I've selected that, becomes blue and active. Right? I'll go over and do the same thing on the perimeters. See, I have a trim finish, so maybe I'm going to finish off these rooms with trim of some type. Right? And then, like I said earlier, maybe what we need to do is go in here and we have to do a volume demolition. So you see, we've already got a 6-inch demolition of concrete already built in place. They see all of those blue items. Those are now active tools, and any of the ones that are engaged and in blue, I can actively go in now and just apply those in one shot. And just like that, I can just go in instead of going to, again, think about it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 different tools working, right, against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms. I would have to go in, if I was doing this manually, those would be 20 different measurements I'd have to spell out around each. I'd have to do each of these rooms 20 times. Okay, or excuse me, 5 times for a total of 20. Don't want to over exaggerate, right? But that's a lot of work, right? So now I can go and I'm going to say apply. And you see that doing it, really, instead of taking 20 minutes to do that, it's that fast. I'm done. I've applied everything that I needed. So I can go in here and say close. Now I know right now a lot of this stuff is drawn on top of each other, right? But if we go in here and we start to take a look at things, and what I'll do is I'll just kind of move some of these off so you can see, right, that I've got different measurements in each room. Right? I added in all of these. So I'm just kind of taking this one so we can see it a little bit, just kind of dragging those off. Right? But you can see that I put in my 6-inch demolition. It's returning the values in cubic feet. My floor finish, whatever that happens to be, I can change the label, right? And my trim outline around that room, all handled for that room. And there's a defined space in there underneath it, right? So I'm gonna just undo back so they all go back into where they are, right? And very quickly, I'm gonna go back and show you how we deal with like the spaces here, right? So for example, you see when I click on it, I can see which room. When I go to my spaces tab, right? Now I can go and I can start renaming these and say, hey, that's room 100. Okay, this here, that's room 101. Here, see, I can just kind of put in the standard, whether these are office, room, apartment, whatever it is, right? Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be 102. I mistyped that. Right, this is room 102. This is room 103. Okay, and then lastly, of course, I'll make that room 104. Okay, so I'm very easily, with that dynamic tool, I'm able to define spaces as well. And once I've got those spaces all defined, when I go down to my markups list, right, you see down here, I've got all of my structures, all of my format already built, right? So I can go in and I can actively start to sort all of these by labels, right? And you see that all of my subject and labels, all of my basic information, my calculations and measurements from my tool chest over here, right? All of these, right, that I was using, they all came in. They're already here. Everything's already built and structured. My takeoffs are already done. And I can easily go in and sort these down by space, right? So that I can easily start to say, hey, what's in room 102? See, in room 102, here's what I have, right? 115 square foot of the floor, right? I have 45 linear feet of trim, right? And I've got 58 cubic feet of the 6-inch pad that has to be demoed out of there. right? Very easy to go in and apply multiple takeoffs all at the same time across your rooms. And you can sort, as always with Bluebeam, by subject, label, measurement, space, whatever you need to do, right? But I can actively apply spaces, right, directly to all of these different items with no problem, right? And put them all in their individual rooms, room 101, 2, 3, 4, all right there with no issues. Okay, so I can go into each room and see exactly what each room entails to accomplish. Okay, all right, or again, like I said, I can go and easily go in and sort it all by the labels, right? So you can see how much 6-inch demo versus how much floor, how much trim, right? And you see I get my measurements and my totals all additive and structured. Okay, right. Now the thing that I want to point out with this, because we were working in terms of using our tools, right? The predefined tools. Items that you've got predefined here in your tools, right, will work just fine. So for example, if you're working in conjunction with custom columns, you see that here I built a custom column called floor finishes, right? And I've got floor finishes here in my list. I can easily go in. Those were already tied through my custom tool. I can easily go in now and start to apply, hey, what are we doing here, right? In that room, it's going to be stone, right? In this room, it's going to be, 24 by 24 tile, right? I can choose from this list of all of the, we're going to put slate over here, right? VCT in that room, right? So that's the kind of thing you can structure all your custom columns, all of your custom options, including pricing, units, calculations, whatever custom information you want, tie that between here and here. And when you use the tool set, right, and link that with your dynamic tool, it will automatically come out for you, right? And be already in place, already for you to work and choose and deal with, okay? Again, all just by using our dynamic fill tools, which is off your measure tab, all the way off the bottom, dynamic fill, right? Then, here's where the one thing that I do get a lot of questions that people say, well, every time I go in here, it keeps choosing and doing the same things. Notice that these are still blue. It means it's still using the last ones that you used. If you want to go in, you can just click on the blue and turn those off. Now you've kind of cleared out all your selections again. So now you can go in and do other rooms, right? Now if you wanted to go in and do over here by the this room, okay? And this room is going to get the same finish in there, right? So that's the kind of structure you can do. And now I could go in and say, what is it we're looking to do there, right? Whatever you're doing, poly lengths of different types, perimeters, right? Maybe we're doing a wall finish in here, right? We're going to go in and do the drywall, and I need to calculate the wall finish, and that's all I need to do, right? No problem. I just go ahead and apply the wall finishes. There it is. Now I can calculate the wall areas and apply different wall finishes based on my control sets and what I have, right? So you see it's calculating for me the wall finish type. I can turn on my depth area, get my wall area, whatever I need, and go ahead and, like I said, go ahead and apply different wall finishes. Right, so what are we going to do in there, right? Are we painting? And again, these are all just columns that I can, clicked off them. Stay on the wall finishes. There we go. All right, I'm just going to do, eggshell paint in this room, and then we're going to do some paneling in that room, right? That's the kind of thing that you can do and how you can integrate it into these tool sets. Okay. All right, so that I think really kind of covers the idea behind the dynamic tools. They're very, very easy to use. Right? It's just about doing flood fills. The big thing is working with the boundary tool when you have any kind of an opening, okay? And you can just leave that on and work them interactively and add boundaries on the fly as you're working. It's not a problem, okay? So with that said, right, let's jump back over here, right? And when it comes to building these, right, this is what we do here at ZenTek in terms of Bluebeam. If you guys are interested in developing those custom Bluebeam tools that we saw, and kind of defining those with custom columns and so on, we can help you with that. We can train your staff. I know this is just a presentation to give you guys an idea. If you really want your staff to get more involved in this and really know more on how to use Bluebeam effectively, we train everywhere from beginner level all the way to advanced and expert. And we develop and implement these and custom workflows and file sharing all for Bluebeam and really pretty much any other AEC product that you're working with, okay? So here's where I'm going to go in. I'm going to talk a little bit, and I want to go take a few minutes and just look at your questions and answers here. All right, so let's see, what questions do we have come in? So I had a question from Tara. Tara wants to know, is it possible to upgrade my Bluebeam standard to extreme, or is that a whole new purchase? No, yeah, you can absolutely upgrade. Anybody who's got, whether you have standard or CAD, and then to the best of my ability or my memory, I don't think it matters what year you have either. There is an upgrade cost okay, rather than having to buy an entirely new license. I don't know what the actual price is, but if you guys want, you can reach out, you can call ZenTek and talk to Rocco Parisi here, who a lot of you guys probably already know, or you can always just email sales@zentekconsultants.net, Tara, and they will, get you a quote on what it would take go from your current license to, the extreme version, so that you have these tools available for yourself. Okay. Someone asked, Peter asked, did this start at 2:30 or 3? Yeah, sorry, Peter, it started at 3 o'clock Eastern time, for those of you who might be somewhere else. Okay. Another question I have here from Dylan. Is it possible to work dynamic fill with layers? Oh, yes, actually, that's a great question. Now, let me actually jump back to Bluebeam Revu real quick. It really depends on how you have your tool structured, Dylan. And you'll see that actually, I want to go over to my layers tab here. All right, and this is actually a real important step when you're defining your tools in general, but particularly if you're planning on working with these. You say everything came in on top of each other, it makes this real mess to look at and work with. Well, if you predefine your tools, as we always do here at ZenTek, with layers, you'll see that I can easily come in here. And if I just want to focus and show the floor finishes, you see that my trim, demolition, and walls, right? I can easily turn all of those off. And see, there are just my floors. Okay, now I'm showing only my floor finishes, so I can print this out, send it to the floor contractor. Okay, when that's done, I can turn those off and say, okay, now I want to go to the trim finishes. And what's great about this is that the spaces work independently of that. So you see kind of the blue background, which are my space designators. With those, I can easily go through and tell them, hey, this much trim in room 101, this much trim in room 102. The demolition contractor, I can tell them how many cubic feet of concrete in room 103, 104, right? I can easily turn these on and off just by integrating this all up. The wall finishes were over here, right? Sorry, see, there are the wall finishes. So yeah, it really just comes down to how you define your tools and if you integrate layers directly into your tool set, okay? And when they're there, any properties, custom columns, layer controls, whatever you've done in your tool chests, those will come in as part of the structure there, okay? So looking at that, I don't see any other questions. Looks like that kind of answers everything, right? So again, we do a lot more than Bluebeam here at ZenTek. We work with a lot of different systems, CAD systems. We're Microsoft certified partners. We can help you with a lot of different things. We hope you hit our website and see what we can do for you. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, or if you want to know about upgrading your licensing or anything we can do to help you out, our contact information is up here on screen. Right. Other than that, I really want to thank you guys for spending the time today, and I hope we get a chance to work together again soon. Have a great day, everybody.